Hey there, Internet. You're watching and or listening to AfterBuzz TV. We're talking Archer, Season 7, Episode 3, Deadly Prep. Join us as we break down this episode. We're going to give our thoughts. We're going to give our 2 cents, as it were. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey yo there, Internet. Welcome back. We're talking Archer. Ain't it grand? It's a grand episode. It's a grand time. I'm Greg Goodness. If you want to find me on the Twitters, you can find me at Greg Goodness. But I'm not the only one here in the studio. We got some lovely people talking Archer with me.
Hey!
What's up, guys?
Unison, as a unit.
We tried. We're here for it.
Oh my goodness. You can find me all over social media. Oh, this is Alexis Torres, by the way, if you don't know who's talking. You can find me all over social media as atorres890.
And I'm Joelle Monique, and you can also find me everywhere at Joelle Monique.
Zach Wilson is not with us tonight.
Why?
That butthole.
He is, hey now.
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
No, he's a huge butthole.
No, thank you. See?
But we can't say it on the air.
Sorry.
He's our butthole.
He is. He is our butthole.
No.
He's my favorite butthole.
Really?
Love you, Zach.
Favorite? Wow.
Thank you.
No,
Hey,
no,
now.
Greg, no, you know you're my favorite butthole.
Yes! All right, that's what I was aiming for. Guys, we got a lot to talk about. This was a good episode of Archer.
I
as
really
it tends
liked
to be.
it. Yeah.
So good.
It was, let's get right into the meat of it. We had an emotional core to this episode.
Holy cow.
Some real stuff went down.
Whoa. Whoa.
Like, I was
Whoa.
not expecting, right?
Yes, it was mostly just like, oh, hey, look, Archer did have it. Well, we already knew he had a terrible past, but that, like, this was just the icing on top of the cake with a little
Like,
bit
it
of cherry on
wasn't
top.
just Mallory and her negligence. Like, he was
Or with
getting it
Duchess.
from every... Yeah, or the dog. He got it from every angle, and... Man, do I feel
Every
bad for
angle.
Archer. Phrasing.
Yeah.
You brought it back!
Well done.
Lana did. Yeah.
No, we've seen like little itty bitty microscopic bits of him at prep school in the past. Just like, I think even in passing, just like, oh, was prep school hard for you? And then just this spore-long Archer sitting alone on the bench on the
Little baby
lacrosse
Archer.
field. Yeah. But this is the first time we actually got into it. And the first time that we've seen Archer
Whoa.
really bullied. I mean, he's had rivals in the past.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Barry for sure. But this is the first time that we've seen him actually get the bejesus kicked out of him.
In a really horrible way. Like, all the punch in the nose was it for me. I was like, well, that's terrible. But I thought for such like what could be like a tender kind of sore subject in a comedy show, I thought they handled the material really
I
well.
completely agree with you on that one. Yeah.
I was proud of them.
It was, no, but it was great. And it was also just like, okay, I do feel a little bad for Archer, even though at the very end I was like, and you know what, it's gone. That didn't last very long.
Did you seriously learn nothing from this? No.
Always my favorite moment in a TV show. Whenever like, what did you learn?
Nothing.
Great. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I was like, that's how I get through life. Alex, did you learn about what happened today? No. Why would you ask me that?
You're right though about the gravitas for which they handled that. There were no jokes. I was always on the edge of my seat like, and here comes the stinger. No, okay, they're just, oh, it's going to be more horrible? Well, surely a joke is coming. Oh no, they're just, Archer is having a really, really hard time right now. Which was a huge departure for the show. We've never had that real emotional gooey moment that I can think of anyways.
It's certainly not as it pertains to Archer's youth. Like, we get some moments here and there with Lana when he's like, oh my god, am I in love with you? Or when he realizes he's best friends with Pam.
I
Right.
still
It's
love
such
that
a
moment
classic moment.
so much.
But that's like a fun moment.
Yeah,
This was...
yeah. But we've never had like this kind of, again, not pertaining to Mallory, these deep, dark, like, just... I just feel so like I want to give Archer a hug and like also slap him at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, oh, Archer. Like, that's like how I feel all the time when I'm with him, especially this episode.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Even in the cancer episodes, I don't think we ever got this serious,
No.
which is
Nope.
crazy.
Definitely not.
But that really speaks to volumes about the human condition, is that we treat our childhood traumas way more seriously. Like cancer. And they even referenced it in the episode, which I was really surprised. They brought it back. Like, well, I'm just saying, it's not a death sentence anymore.
When I had cancer, I would have killed way more people.
And I was like, you are correct. Like, I would not expect less.
Yeah. Archer not the only one with some real gooey emotional moments, though. Cyril getting in there and confronting Archer for being the bully and also being his weird head shrink, which I didn't know Cyril had the mental capacity to go that deep.
Is it weird that I still feel that's all surface with Cyril?
Yeah, I feel like we don't really know what's going on.
I don't
like,
buy it.
Deep in his soul, I think.
I think this was a chance that he saw to take Archer down a peg and kind of poke at an emotional childhood trauma. And he was like, yeah, confront this now. And not to say that he didn't have a valid point and valid reasoning for going after this, but I just hate Cyril so much. So much. He's my least favorite.
That's actually true. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that until now that he is my least favorite, because he's just a little d-hole.
But
yeah.
that's what he's
whiny.
supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly his function on the show.
But everybody has like a better like Cyril does come in with the money stuff. Like when they're in financial troubles or numbers need crunching, Cyril's usually there for that.
Yeah, see, it's funny because Charlie and Sharon, whatever.
Cheryl/Carol, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is all like her and Cyril are on the same level for me, because you can't hate them completely, but like you know that they're just so annoying. You're just like, why are you here?
I feel like Cheryl has a redeeming quality because she at least has now, like, she's developed like some pride in herself.
Yes.
Like she chose her name now. Like it's not the same name she started with, but she was like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And she like can take people down a peg and like she lives a full life. But Cyril is just so attached to Lana, so like intimidated by Archer, unable to stand up to Mallory. Like every time he shows up, I want to be like, go somewhere else. It's just like when he runs into the room and he was like, why did anybody tell me about this case? What case are we doing? You follow him. It's just Cyril style.
But that's the whole point of this episode. Like that's why we got to this gooey center with him. And yeah, granted, maybe we're still on the surface and we're not really getting at the horrible stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally relate that, okay, yeah, for Cyril, Archer is his bully, that he fantasizes about doing a weird Silence of the Lambs scenario
that got
with.
way too real for me. I was like, Cyril, you really need some help, bro. Like,
Cyril has really thought about this.
Did you see that smirky on his face? He's like,
yeah, when they come
I was like, whoa, buddy.
that was amazing.
Somebody take this guy's V
And
cast away.
actually, I appreciate that more, like that aspect of Cyril having it's good to know he's not a wet blanket on the inside. Like on the inside, he's like, no, I'd totally stand up to Archer. He won't, but he feels like he could, and I can appreciate that.
I agree.
And he's doing his legit thing. He's actually sort of helping out in the case, bumbling it and not grabbing all the evidence.
Like he usually does.
Yeah, but at least stuffing his
you grab
shirt.
the disc? Just the disc would have been more. Like the files might have been helpful, but if you had the hard copy disc, what propels you? Like your hand is there.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into the defense of Cyril here.
Here we go.
You, next time you're covered in blood and someone is shooting at you and you're slipping and falling in the blood, ooh, I bet that's sticky. You can go.
That whole scene, I literally wanted to barf. I was just like, stop, please stop crawling. And this man,
Kudos to the animation team for leaving chunks of brain all over him.
I was about to say that.
So good.
No, too
Real
much.
graphic.
Too much. Too much.
Too much.
No.
You said the pee was too much for
Guys,
you.
I am a very squeamish person, even when it's animated. So the fact that it wasn't actually the animation, it was the noises. Because I had my headphones really loud, so all I heard was squishing, and I was like, like, it was just terrible. But I still enjoyed the episode either way.
It's interesting, though, because we're getting at these gooey emotional cores, and I know I keep using that phrase because I just love it so much.
Killing me, Smalls.
But it's something that we've been doing in seemingly every episode, or at least we've been seeing Archer get the bejesus kicked out of him in every episode. Yeah, I mean, I think we're finally getting into a groove where, yeah, we have on the surface this Longwater case and what's going on there, but really what this season is about, like, Archer keeps getting messed up. Even at the very beginning of this episode, like, his hair was a little bit, like, askew and not quite in the right place. Like, he's getting taken down a peg by everyone around him every time that he goes out and does something.
I love it. I love it so much.
Do you want to see more of that? Like, how far can we bring down Archer?
To the fact where apparently he's dead in a pool somewhere. That's how far we're gonna go.
Valid.
I would definitely like to see him hit a rock bottom, though.
Yes.
Everything comes really easy to Archer. And even things that are struggle are usually an emotional one of,
Yeah.
like, how do I do this? But I like the idea of, like, no finances, no corporation or organization
No
to back him
gadgets.
up. Yeah, because Cyril could easily just be like, no more for you, and get rid of Archer and push him out. And there would literally be nothing he could do about it if Cyril ever grew a backbone.
Maybe this will be
might.
the episode. I mean, not the episode. Maybe this is the season.
Yeah.
Cyril grows a backbone.
Yeah, but I definitely want to see Archer get pushed in a way that we haven't seen him push before, and that definitely seems to be the direction that we're going in.
Yeah, because we've hit points where he's had moments where he obviously just disappears, goes to have, goes mostly, I believe it's Thailand, and gets drunk off a Cobra whiskey or whatever it is and have a bunch of whores. So there's that, but I want to see an actual emotional wreck Archer. I know it sounds terrible, but I want it so bad.
I'm about it too.
No, I mean, I want to see it as well because it's just an
Yes.
interesting place to bring the character. And yeah, we saw him sort of come out on top at the end of this episode because, yeah, he's joking around with Lana behind bars or behind the weird plexiglass.
I don't know what's happening with Lana's story right now. I'm so confused.
I feel like Lana has acclimated to LA. Like, Lana is full on 100% like.
She got the weave.
Yes, check.
She's looking into prep schools.
The pre.
Yeah.
Pre school, excuse me. I'm thinking of like actual college prep because my brother's going into college, so I'm like, and yeah, pre, which is crazy to me. Like I didn't know that there was an actual, like, not out here, might be out here, that there's like
Go over to
college
Malibu and stuff.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
college, like they're trying to make kindergarten college for 3-year-olds, and I'm like, why?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Why?
it's big money, dude. Because people
the
pay aside.
Public school system is terrible.
All right,
So
Mallory.
I hear. So I hear from certain really old waspy women.
You might as well get the
TV
stripper pole now.
Thank you.
That is not new information. Everyone knows. I appreciate the stinger, though. That was beautiful.
Oh my god,
But
that was
no,
great.
I think we do get to see Lana like coming into her own because what
Yeah.
I think it is that she is finally taking control of Archer. And granted,
Completely.
yeah, at the end of this episode, yeah, she's kicked down and out. But at the beginning of the episode, she was like, "Nope, you're doing this, and I'm in charge, and you are a father now, and we have these responsibilities."
You know, and now that you mention it, that's the first time Archer stands up to her is when she's literally behind plexiglass.
She can't do
anything. And he's like, well, I'm not picking her up from school every day. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was great.
So I think we might see everyone besides Archer get a backbone then. We might
Yeah.
see
Yes.
Cyril finally stand up. We might see Lana. Not that she hasn't stood up for herself before,
No,
but
she does it all the time.
to win.
Yeah,
like,
she does kowtow to Archer a lot. Like, she'll give him a lot of, like, you know,
benefit of the doubt.
right,
Yes.
exactly, and she'll let him get away and then slide on certain things. But I definitely feel like now that AJ is, and we get to see
Adorable,
AJ
can
and
we
Cyril
say?
now,
Oh my
which
God.
was so exciting, and she's so cute with a little
she's
buff.
so cute with the little hair.
Good job, animators, making that
Please.
baby adorable.
So cute.
Oh my god, I want more of baby Abigine. She's adorable.
And I think Mama Lana is gonna be much more intense.
I want to see her just
future.
become just like this really gushy mother, just like, who's my cute little AJ?
It'll
Where'd my cute
never
little
happen.
AJ? It will never happen, but it'll be adorable.
I just want to see her strap AJ onto her back and go into
And
battle.
that's what I want. That is
I'm
the one.
ready
That's
for
the
it,
one
animators.
want. The only thing during this whole season is literally her running Archer, just shooting stuff, and the baby's just like, yay! And I'm like, oh, that baby's gonna be so
baby-
traumatized.
In the interview, when Ivy was like, didn't shake Lana's hand, AJ was giving side eye with Lana, and I was like,
Nice.
I'm ready for the team ups. Like,
It's gonna
I'm
be
here for it.
beautiful.
Rude.
Yeah,
30
so
Rock,
rude.
right?
No, you're right.
All right, good.
I love 30 Rock, so I was like,
Okay.
yes, please.
What do you guys love? That's a big question. You, the
Ooh.
viewer, what do you want to see more of? Is it more of us? We certainly hope so.
Yes, please.
But if not, or if so, you can rate and comment on iTunes and let us know what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong or just your thoughts about the show because we like to hear those too. You guys have awesome, weird fan theories that we could never even begin to imagine. If you don't feel like commenting on iTunes, why? do it. But also, you can do it on YouTube because we're streaming there too. I got IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
Oh my god, I love your username.
Throwback.
That just brought all the nostalgia back. I'm so happy right now.
Wow.
Saying, speaking of OJ, anybody notice Ray's one black glove? Question mark foreshadowing.
He's trying. Okay, I wasn't ready for that one. Two, he's just trying to hide it because he was all weird about it last season.
I love whoever came up with that theory, though. You're my new favorite person.
Well, Jason Templar saying the exact same thing that you said, where he's like, hey man, it's just a carnivorous plant ate his real arm, so stop reading into it.
Yup.
And Xavier Clark says that Zach is great, but we think he's a butthole.
I think he's a great butthole. I have to agree with Metal Monkey here in the chat, who's live, which if you didn't know that, you can talk to us live on the show. It still has a little bit of a lag, but, you know, we're here. It says, it's Archer's kid. It will have a 20 body kill count by the age of 3. I was like, you are sure.
That is correct.
That is correct.
We are for sure going to see that baby murder someone by the end of the season.
I mean, we can't be sure she hasn't already.
Ooh.
Rugrats gone rogue.
Ooh.
Yes!
New theory.
What's your theory? Go.
Who do you think shot Archer?
Dun, dun,
Are
dun.
we gonna...
Baby?
Oh my god.
I want this so bad.
Archer's violent past catching up with him in the form of his own spawn.
Oh my god, his own fleshling. I would love that. Somebody said we have to talk about Mallory talking about getting her mini stripper pole. That was ridiculous. Mallory needs to get the F out of here. That was great.
Mallory has just lost any semblance of a filter. Like, she never really had a big one to begin with, but something about the LA weather has changed her.
It's something in the water.
Or not.
You know what I mean?
Or I think it might be the lack of money. I think with her going...
She's become fully sassy without money to block it. Oh, I love that.
But she also shouldn't be allowed anywhere near AJ. Like, you already tried to starve the baby.
No, I remember that from last season. I was like, yeah, you need to go.
You cannot be around AJ anymore.
Ice chips is not worth it. You crazy woman. I love
so
it.
wrong, but just that's why I was so confused. Left me
Get out.
horrible, inappropriate stuff to say, but that's why I love
I
it.
appreciate the exploring of racism in LA, though.
I do.
I really feel like people are like, racism is in the South, and it's everywhere.
It is.
And especially in small circles here in LA, like, it's...
The Valley. That's all I'm going to say. This is the Valley. Come on, girl. You know what I'm talking about. Like, come on. Anyway.
I thought they handled it well.
No, I thought it was interesting. But you know what else? If they're also capturing the racism of LA pretty well, they're capturing, like, all of LA pretty well.
This is true.
Which was a very rocky transition for yours truly.
But you did it. You made it work.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
No, we had a bunch of, like, more LA stuff. We've already had a bunch of references, like the LA River, but we actually had a car chase on the PC-8.
That was
beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough cars, though.
Was anyone else reminded of San Andreas?
Yes, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, I need to go play that.
I'm ready.
When I get home. Immediately.
Yeah, I don't think they mapped out, like, a specific part of it, but it was definitely...
I think they're just covering everything at this point, especially with the glass house up on the mountain. I was like, yeah, we're in Malibu. That's exactly where we are right now.
I think they do have an idea that LA is nothing but glass houses because
hills.
also
I mean-
the lawyer's house was completely made of glass. Maybe they just saw, oh god, the bling ring. And
Maybe.
that was...
Maybe that's what it was. Wasn't there a Bruce Willis movie where he also had a glass house? I can't remember what it was.
Everybody has a glass house.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. They're just like, everybody in LA has a glass house. And I'm like, I beg to differ.
They had the LA skyline down pretty right
They
though.
did.
Like the Avenue of the Stars area, I thought was probably the model for that when Archer was in the high rise. So that
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And just in general, I thought I've given out shouts to the animation team in the past. This episode was really slow for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was like, oh man, they're really cutting back. But then that car chase came in.
was beautiful.
Oof, everything was so fast paced and turny and windy. Like nothing we've seen before on the
And
series. So
I loved
great job.
when the car did go off the railing and onto the mountain, and how Cyril actually, like, he moved a little bit more, even though it was just him in the car, and then him braking. Like, we actually got to see him actually slow down. I was like, all right, animation team, I see what you're doing over here. I like it.
And putting in the work.
Yeah,
Put in the work.
It
It's
was
nice.
definitely impressive.
that was great.
But even though it's a slower episode, I mean, that too is sort of a theme that we've been running with this season. I'm like, all right, we're not in as many locations, but I thought it was great, personally. I just like to see these sort of like it is sort of like a throwback to these old detective shows, where it's a little bit more slow.
Yeah, well, with all the new settings that they have to make for, like, we had so much office or so much time. They must have been really excited to flex. They're like artistic muscle, like, we're building new sets. I'm here for it. We're ready.
And I'm actually okay with that. I want to see
yeah.
how much of LA they can fit into this season. It's gonna be great. I'm still waiting for a Starbucks.
Get to the valley.
Somewhere.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Show the trash out there.
Yes.
All right, guys, stray observations. What do you think? Anything pop out to you in this episode? Any weird references? I know you were doing your research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
You had a song that you were researching? or
They
two?
played the Ballad of Paladin, which is the theme song from Have Gun Will Travel.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that.
Yeah, when Archer's cleaning his
too
gun.
much. I was too much throwing up into a bucket as I was watching this episode. That's what was happening. I was distracted.
If you guys don't know what Have Gun Will Travel is, it's a show that ran from like 57 to 63 about a West Point graduate who becomes a gun for hire. That was a really kind of appropriate moment for Archer to be just imagining himself as a hired gun going around just slaying people.
And Archer, up until that point, was drinking Old Buncombe whiskey.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Which, besides just being a funny name, is apparently a county in North Carolina.
What?
Or an insincere speech made by a politician to please his delegates.
I thought they were just throwing alphabet soup onto this label. I was like, this is an actual word?
Nope, but considering the
What?
old-timey, weird, like, Colonel Sanders S sort of guy
yeah,
down.
yeah.
I was like, all right, yeah, that's appropriate.
Speaking of old words, people don't. Octoroon came up.
I died. I was like, yes.
I did not know what the word meant. I had to go look it up. It's a person who is 1/8 black.
Yes. That's why I thought it was funny when they brought it up. I was just like, no way.
That's not even accurate, Archer. Lana has 2 black parents. Calm it down. Oh my gosh, so classic.
He thought he was so smart there.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
was prepared.
no.
Yeah, I'm not even
Oh my
gonna
God.
risk saying any of the other terms they were using.
Let's not.
Yeah, so
Let's talk about the 2 characters that we got in here who were so great and killed off so quickly.
What was
it's
it?
so deservedly.
Not Whitney.
Yeah, Trent
Yeah.
Whitney.
Oh, Whitney.
And
Whitney.
Whitney. Thank you. I was like, well, that doesn't sound right. That's why.
and then we had Ivy.
I thought that Ivy was really smart of like, oh, I've got cancer. I really need you to help me out because, I mean, you're the only person who could do that because I was such a terrible person to you. And then he actually gives him the wrong freaking address. That was beautiful. Well, not the wrong address, but you know what I mean.
Right, he set him up. I was a little upset that Archer didn't catch on to like or ask more questions.
No, I think he was too traumatized to really figure out what was
he
going
just
on.
got his dream job, like kill your bully. Like, he's literally asking you for it. Kill him. So I get why he was distracted, but I was like, Archer, does this not even a little bit feel like a setup?
Yeah, no, Peter D. Supernatural Whovian. Wow, that is a username. Archer was giddy about murdering that guy, and I'm like, yeah, I completely agree.
So, how do you want to die? Just that straight deadpan delivery, with a little bit of smile on
Oh,
his
it was
face.
beautiful.
So good. All right, guys, we gotta wrap this up here. Let's hear some of that spooky theremin music.
Light show.
Your AfterBuzz
Love it
TV
so much.
predictions.
You know, I keep thinking it's gonna wear off. That someday that spooky theremin music isn't gonna hit me like it used to. But every time.
Just
Guys,
perfect.
what do you think? What are we gonna be seeing?
Oh, I don't even. You should go first.
I'll go first. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm hoping we get moments for Pam to shine. We got that nice little clip at the end of the episode with her mostly naked with a utility belt on.
That's all I want in life.
Pam is absolutely my favorite, and so
Gorgeous.
she is stunning. The back tattoo, the attitude, all of it. And I've been missing her a little bit this season. We got her in the chair again from last week, which was nice. But I'm really hoping, especially after proclaiming that she wanted to be the muscle, I'm
Yes,
really
I
hoping
want-
we get a chance for her to step in the light.
Yeah, I want to see more of, well, Mallory calls them the drones, but I want to see more of just everybody else, because I know that we're always following Lana and Archer all the time, but my favorite stories or episodes are always with the group.
Totally.
Especially with Pam and Cheryl. Awesome. Carol. Whatever. I love them.
Carol.
Thank you. Just in general. But yeah, Pam has always been my favorite. Especially, I think she became like #1 for me next to Lana was when her episode with her sister getting married. Like that, when that happened.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, no, Pam needs to be in more episodes all the time.
Pam is the best.
She is the best.
I'm gonna build off of that and say that I think we're gonna get more of a Cheryl Carroll episode.
I'm okay with that too.
Mm-hmm. We haven't seen like thing one of her. She's just been sort of in the corner and sniffing glue and doing her thing, which is fine.
Yeah.
You can appreciate it.
I mean, she hasn't tried to kill the baby yet. That's all I care about. Because you know how much she doesn't like babies.
She doesn't like babies.
She doesn't like babies. Like, she was talking about it. And, like, she didn't even like that Lana was pregnant. So.
And more Milton. Always more Milton. We can
always
never
down for
have
that.
enough. I want a spin-off of Milton. Please.
The Adventures of Milton.
It should be a web series all the time. The Adventures
I
of
think it
Milton.
could be like a $1 Million Man kind of scenario.
Milton does LA.
Yes, I want it so bad. Take my viewership, my money, anything, my bottle caps. I'll take it. I want it.
All right, guys. I think that wraps it up for us here in the studio.
It is late.
Why don't you guys let them know where they can find you?
You can find me all over social media as ATorres890. I have a YouTube channel. It's not that great, but it also would be nice if you guys would come visit me. I'm talking about things on Wednesdays. It's called the Hump Day Lunch Hour, where I talk in my car on Wednesdays about random stuff.
All right, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me everywhere at Joelle Monique, and specifically at Black Girl Nerds, where you can catch my new review for The Jungle Book and very soon Captain America: Civil War.
Do it. She's awesome.
I'm Greg Goodness. You can find me on the Twitters at Greg Goodness, and you can also check out my YouTube page, which is Doom Goose. Check it out. We got a web series that's finishing up right now about a weird alcoholic addicted to a cult in the desert, and also just released a sketch about a tax lawyer who will fake your death. So check
These
it
are
out.
comedies?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out now.
You got
Yes,
to.
I will
Do
see
it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're gonna catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.